Hi, it's Dr. Shane. Welcome to the show, and I'm so glad that you caught us here. And I'm visiting with none other than TeamComplete.com, the owner, John Miner. He is a certified general contractor and has helped a lot of people here in the 850. He's here for you as well. Remember the name, TeamComplete.com. That is TeamComplete.com. Let me go ahead and give you the phone number, too, because you may have questions. All you have to do is call 932-8720. If you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, you're listening from around the world, maybe you were displaced by the storm and you're listening right now in Tennessee, or you're listening to find out what's going on in Georgia or Mississippi or anywhere in the world on iHeartRadio.com. Here's the number, 850-932-8720. That is TeamComplete.com. I don't know where to start when it becomes time to talk about picking up after the storm, putting your life back together, putting your businesses back together. But John Miner knows where to start because he has done this for years, over 20 years, and his father before that. Now, I want to talk about businesses, John, that have lost everything. Here they are. Let's say I own a business, and I'm paying my insurance company just like I do. Sometimes it's ahead of time. I pay at the beginning of the year. I pay my insurance. I've been paying my insurance for years. Now, devastation in Northwest Florida. The 850, we've all come through this terrible storm. And my business is not completely gone, or maybe it is completely gone. But my insurance comes back, and they only want to give me, I'll just throw out a number, $2,500 for a roof. Now, John, that doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, I understand, and it hurts, and it feels hard, and it doesn't. When you open that envelope, you're expecting to get, what you read about and what you see on Saturdays when we're watching college football, and the good relationship that we want to have with our insurer, and sometimes that first check doesn't come off as that.
And they well know that a roof is going to cost more than $2,500, and here I am paying insurance. That's where you come in too with general contracting, and you go above and beyond.
We try to. We try to do it correctly. We try to do it exactly right, and not just right under the law, but right under maybe a higher power.
Absolutely.
What's right? We slow down a little bit. We don't get involved in. I'm not about what does the claim owe you or what's the value. Did they act in bad faith? Those are lawyer questions. That's outside of my purview. But what I can tell you is, if you've got a 5 or 7 or 10 or 12,000 square foot metal building,
right,
and they're coming out there and sharing with you that it's going to be $2,500 or even $20,000 or even $50,000 to restore your structure, that's probably unlikely, depending on your location and depending on the damage to your 29 gauge metal walls and roof. We are finding that in those occasions, in those metal buildings, we're mostly getting them reskinned. We're getting agreements from most of the insurers based on the wind speeds. We got 150 mile an hour sustained winds out here at Mexico Beach at minimum. And it's.
If you're just now joining us, by the way, we're talking to one of the greatest general contractors that have helped businesses for years get back on their feet after a horrific storm. He's based out of Pensacola, but you might as well call John Miner a local boy right here in Northwest Florida, right here in Panama City. And he has encouraged from day one, do not leave the 850, rebuild. He has said that. Yeah. Use local people and rebuild. That's right. John Miner is one of us. Loves the state of Florida. And by the way, one of the best certified general contractors I've ever met in my broadcasting career. And he's helping many businesses in Northwest Florida. I don't care if you're in Gulf County, if you're in Bay County, if you're in Holmes County, if you're in Washington County, and your business has been affected by Hurricane Michael, TeamComplete.com is the website you need to go to. And that'll pull up everything you need to know about John Miner. He has so many degrees. The guy should be a meteorologist. And he's the last guy that's going to brag on himself. But what he will do is brag on what he can do for you and your business to get you back and rolling. But rebuild, TeamComplete.com, 932-8720. That's 932-8720. Now, let's just say my business, it wasn't 100% wiped out. There's 4 walls in a room. John, I've lost 2 walls. I need a new roof. My question is, where do I start? Once I hire you, there are 2 walls that are completely gone or destroyed because of this storm. That leaves 2 more walls to make a square. they seem to be okay. I don't know whether to replace them or not. Who do I call? Where do I start? Starts with John Miner.
Well, it starts. Yes, it'll end with me. It maybe doesn't start with me, but it'll. Like I tell many people, I don't know what the first number will be, but I'll sure tell you what the last one's going to be for sure. In many situations, what we're talking about is either a matching issue or a code issue. And
now, what do you mean by that? You can't just replace two walls, right?
Well, you can in certain circumstances, and you cannot in many others. And in most circumstances, it's going to be reasonable to remove and replace all four or all of the exterior wall cladding, so that you've got a consistent look around the exterior of the residence or commercial building, more likely. This is a common theme that is a function of both the insurance policy over there, which I'm not going to talk about as much today, but and is the reasonableness that, do you want a building that when you're done with a restored project that was damaged by wind or fire or smoke or some other loss, is it going to be made whole? Is it going to look as good or as well as it did when you started
before the storm? Right.
Exactly, and that's what you're looking for. So it's, do they owe to match? Maybe they don't owe to match, but certainly they owe to not devalue. We want to make recommendations that a restoration that we recommend, and whether I'm working for an insurer and I'm coming in and making a decision, I'm going to use the same set of rules. I'm going to identify if I can put a repair together that is not going to devalue the property when I'm done, then I'm satisfied with that repair. Our job is to make it whole, to make it as good as it was. And in replacement cost benefits, you actually end up with a better property
property. Yeah,
absolutely. And then of course you're going to look at the law and ordinance challenges, right? So we've had this part of the state has had a little bit of lag in bringing some of the building codes forward. As many people know, there was an exemption against having laminated glass at one point, or hurricane glass. That exemption was removed. And now it is necessary to have hurricane glass here as you build new construction. That's going to be a huge cross driver here locally.
I didn't know that. That's why you need to call John Miner. If you're just now joining us now, I'm speaking with the Team Complete is the name of his business, and that's the website too, teamcomplete.com. General contractors. His name is John Miner. He is one of the most brilliant and educated general contractors I have ever met, and I'm honored enough to call him now my friend. John Miner with Team Complete will give you the appraisal services that they have. He's also an expert witness. I want to jump into some of the devices that you have. I've never seen the science that you have put into your company, where you've got, what's it called? Thermal imaging?
Yeah, well, we have thermal imaging. We have drone-mounted thermal imaging cameras, which is
wow.
Yeah, it's really, really, really cool. And what I can do with them when I have a large project, 1 million square foot or more, and we have several of those throughout the country. I can run 1 million square foot or a 300, typical high school, say 350,000 square foot. I can run that in 2 or 3 hours in an evening at night and look at the latent energy from the sun. As the sun beats down on a roof, it's going to heat up the areas that are entrained with moisture. As the sun goes away, those areas are going to cool down quicker than the areas that are entrained with moisture. And I'm going to see that as a red spot, or as when we're watching cops and they're chasing the bad guys with the helicopter, they show up in red. Well, same sort of thing with water. It shows up in red, and I can see it from 400 foot in the air.
What's amazing to me is to watch you work. If you're just now joining us, by the way, you're listening to John Miner. He's with teamcomplete.com. That number is 932-8720. If you have any questions whatsoever, that is 932-8720. It amazes me to watch you work, because there are adjusters that will come in with a small device in their hand and hold it up against a piece of sheetrock and say, no, that's dry. And then you have a piece of equipment that's like $6,000-$7,000 and you're like, nope, that's wet. There's a big difference in a $200 piece of equipment and a $7,000. You bring only the best. Your company is top of the line.
Well, it's a combination of techniques and tools, and everything that we use is going to be ASTM based. We're going to go back to the ASTM. We're going to look at what are the rules and responsibilities of a building inspector when they're looking at a property. I get a lot of phone calls and folks say, well, I need this. No, you don't. Really, tell me what your situation is.
Right.
And then maybe I can diagnose what you need or you do not need. I'm more than happy to provide services for folks that at their direction. But at the same time, I've been doing this a whole long time. So allow me to maybe give me a call if you got a situation. I'm not going to charge you any money initially. We'll visit. We'll figure out if I'm a good fit for you, if you're a good fit for us. If it works out and we like one another, frankly,
you've got to. When you're working that close, to build my business back, you got to be able to trust someone.
If you don't trust me, don't call me, or call me, but come out and let's visit. Let's look one another in the eye. Let's check references. Let's check my certified general contractor's license. Let's check my lack of complaints over the last 20 years of doing business. Let's call the people in Gulf Breeze, Florida. Let's call the people around the country and find out who does a good job. Once we get, who you're talking to, and I know whom I'm talking to, then we might be able to move forward in trusting one another.
And at the end of the day,
well, then we're going to get it resolved. It's going to be great. Hopefully I'm going to bring you a fantastic, beautiful restored property that is not going to have broken you because of cost overruns or poor construction decisions or bad challenges associated with the insurance loss. There's a lot of moving parts here. There's building code challenges. I can assure you what I will know is going to be the way it's going to end up when I see your situation.
Well, everybody wants to know, John Miner with the teamcomplete.com, what can you do for me and how can you help me? Check him out on his website. I want to tell you, certified general contracting is what he does, is what his father did as well. And after the storm, putting your business back together, making it, as John Miner said, whole again. That is his expertise. Does he have the degrees to back it up? You betcha. Does he have the employees and the boots on the ground? They've been here for weeks. Teamcomplete.com. And the number, once again, 932-8720. This is something that comes very easy to you. It seems like it rolls off of your tongue. When I'm explaining to you what's wrong with my house or what's wrong with my business and I've lost this and the insurance company is only giving me this amount of money, nothing seems to surprise you, John.
Well, it's just having done it every day for the last 20 plus years. I mean, if it's the same thing when I go to my mechanic, I'm buying myself a new truck and they're talking to me about diesels. I'm like, goodness gracious, I had no idea. These guys are brilliant. I mean, this auto mechanic I just spent time with, I'm like, wow. So, and I see it. I see it everywhere in America. I see it everywhere in Northwest Florida. I see all of us. We are so good at the things that we do.
Sure.
Just in occasion, I understand it's your home, I understand, or your business, and you built it and you created it. But there is a time where when the home is threatened, it's okay to reach out and get some help. And that's what we provide. We provide professional, consistent help.
Insurance claims, appraiser information. You're also an umpire as well. I want to throw out the number real quick, and I want you to explain to me what being an umpire is with teamcomplete.com. That is teamcomplete.com. If you're just now joining us, you've lost your business or you've had whether it's total destruction of your business or your company, or whether it's a partial loss, or whether you're dealing with water damage, you're dealing with mold, you're dealing with debris, that's John Miner and teamcomplete.com. Here's the number, 932-8720. 932-8720. Talk to me, John, if you would, about being an umpire. What does that mean?
Well, it's a service. It is a. You have a responsibility so the appraisal process is a process for resolving disputed claims. And as we're going through this claims process, y'all, as the folks of Northwest Florida, going through this claims process, you're going to get to a position where you're either going to agree with your insurer and everything's great and wonderful, and that's awesome because there's a bunch of great insurance people out there doing a fantastic job, and vast majority of claims are going to get resolved. But the others are going to do something else. They're either going to hire a public adjuster, and that happens, or they're going to demand appraisal, which is a fantastic process that I utilize and provide, or they're going to litigate. Even if they litigate and hire a public adjuster, there's many times where it comes back to the appraisal process anyways. The appraisal process is an alternative dispute resolution process, and it's included in every policy. So if you're sitting in your office and you know you got a big old trouble, but you pulled your policy out, look in there where it says if you and we disagree or appraisal. It's right in your policy. Everybody's got their policies out right now. We're all going through them. Look in there. It says, how do you and me disagree with one another? And that's a contract. It's a two-way deal between you and, well, kind of a two-way deal between you and the insurer. So there is a mechanism for getting these disputes resolved. There is a mediation process, which we talked about previously. Florida Department of Financial Services has a good mediation process. And then there's the appraisal process. Appraisal process is binding. There's no attorney's fees. You're not going to collect attorney's fees out of the appraisal process, but you should get the dollars appropriate to restore the property, and you're going to get an agreement of 2 or 3.
How fast does this process work? Because especially after a major disaster, I mean, everything seems to be crawling right now. That's what I'm hearing. TeamComplete.com, by the way, if you're just joining us, I'm talking with John Miner with TeamComplete.com. The number is 932-8720, 932-8720. Yeah, everything seems to be crawling right now. Is that normal after a major disaster like this?
100%.
Okay.
100%. Yeah, this is exactly there's nothing different here than, this is a more severe storm. So there are many more people that don't have power, and there are many more people that don't have sanitary sewer, that don't have plumbing, that hopefully our boys over there at Rooter are taking care of it for us. They don't. This is much more severe, which is different than most other storms that the country has seen. Even Irma, you didn't have so many individuals where the damage was not just shingles or tiles blown off the roof, but it's actual decking and windows blown in and the electrical knocked out. So this is a much more severe, the way it affects the people, storm than many others, and it's going to have to be dealt with this.
I wouldn't deal with anybody else. John Miner with TeamComplete.com. That's TeamComplete.com. The number is 932-8720. 932-8720. Now, if you have a business that has storm damage right now, maybe your insurance company they're not giving you what you need. They're not giving you just to cover the basics. Who's going to go to bat for you? Who's going to come in and do the work? I want you to call John Miner. He wouldn't be on the show if he and I were not friends and I didn't trust him. But the man has so many certifications. I told you should have been a meteorologist. Actually, your brother is the meteorologist, right?
He is 28-year meteorologist, and we're really proud of him.
What a unique and massive storm. I know you guys have been talking about this, but you were watching that eye wall before it came ashore. The pressure continued to drop in Hurricane Michael.
Which is amazing. I mean, to have it continuing to strengthen as it came ashore is just it's mind-boggling. And the biggest storm to hit Northwest Florida ever. I mean, Camille was a heck of a storm, but that was way down the beach there in our friends in Mississippi. But I tell you what, this was a heck of a thing. My brother is a meteorologist. He actually did he was involved with Maersk, Alabama deal there with the Dr. Phillips, the whole Captain Phillips saga that happened with the pirates in Djibouti, Africa. All you guys that are out there are hard servicemen probably know Djibouti.
Yeah.
I don't know who my brother pissed off to get in there. I'm sorry for the term, but
932-8720. We're talking with John Miner, TeamComplete.com. General contractors, if you don't know what to do next, so many of us right now, so what do I do? Who do I call, or where do I start? John can give you that position and answer any question you may have. 932-8720. And I'll say that number again several times before we close the show. 932-8720. John, I want to take the show into a different angle and ask you your expertise and just how dangerous dealing with mold can be.
Well, it's obvious. It's a terribly dangerous thing, and we go all the way back to Leviticus, and it reaches back to the Bible, and where they talk of finding a mold or an algae or a green tin inside of a building, and to raise the building, RAZE, to take the building to take it to, well, they identify to clean it twice, and if it doesn't stay clean, to destroy the building, to take it to an unclean place outside of the city.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So we've been talking about mold for a whole long time, and it's a real thing, and it's absolutely has to be understood. In addition, the first real mold problems was malt worker's lung. So if you think about it, when we are brewing our beers or our wines, that fermentation process, anytime where mold is acting on a cellulose-based material, then you're going to get mold in the air. And if you're not controlling and understanding that mold, then you can end up with challenges associated with, like they did with malt workers' lung.
Well, you've got businesses right now that are listening right now, owners of businesses. They have mold, they have tile, there's metal. You're a metal expert as well.
Well, we actually have some experience with metallurgists within our group, but so yes, to talk a little bit more about mold, there are some recommendations. Their EPA makes some recommendations. They've got some real reasonable, understandable recommendations that talk about the size of an area and what are the reasonable repair methods. In other words, if it's this size and it looks like this, and it's within a 1 foot by 1 foot, and I don't know the specs. I know there are mold experts much more so than me out there, but they will give you an identification on how to, whether it's something that you can restore yourself or whether it's something that you need to go out and seek expert help with. And then, of course, that's dependent upon the individual. If you're immune compromised, we don't want you out there working on the mold.
Let me ask you, 932-8720 real quick. If you're just joining us, this is John Miner. He's general contractor. He will take care of your business if it has been compromised, if it has been destroyed, if you're building back. You're not getting the insurance money that you thought you'd get back. You don't know where to start, where to begin. John Miner can help you. Here's the number, 932-8720. TeamComplete.com online. TeamComplete.com online. 932-8720. Will mold just wipe off the surface of sheetrock, or once I see mold as a contractor, should I replace the sheetrock?
You're going to replace the sheetrock, and mold has what's called hyphae, HYPHE, and it actually grows into the cellulose-based materials themselves. Mold requires water, and it requires a cellulose-based material, and it prefers it if it'll leave it dark. So that's what it's looking for. And it likes to have that continuous drop of water. Obviously, that allows it to grow better. You've got two different experts out there when you have a mold problem. You're going to have an assessor, right? That's one person, and then you're going to have a remediator as a second person. I think the state of Florida did a great job when they separated those two roles. So one person is going to come in there and test for you, and they may do air sampling testing, they may do tape sampling testing, or bulk sampling. They may take an actual sample of the building material. They'll send that off to a lab. They're going to give you an indication or identification, a mold report that says you've got this amount of mold on the inside of your residence or your building, and you basically compare that with outside air. Typically 3 to 1. Just between us is what I'm usually looking for, and then you're looking at that speciation. Do you have Aspergillus penicillium? Well, that is a mold type that we can know is likely to be symptomatic of a water damaged building. So we know the cladosporiums, the different mold types. They go, oh, ding, ding, ding. I'm a little bit worried about this one.
And you need to be, it's very, very serious, and you need a professional just like John Miner and his team to come in and take care of you and your business. Whether I have a metal building that has been blown away, or whether it's brick, or whether it's concrete, you do it all.
Oh yeah, and typically it's much larger properties, and typically we're involved in the appraisal process. Dr. Shane, as I told you when I first came in, the reason I came to see you, Dr. Shane, is because I sat in Mexico Beach in my camper. And I listened to the way you and all the other folks up here at this radio station, the way your hearts went out and the way you helped these people in this community. So that's why I'm sitting here right now, for no other reason. Complete has plenty of business. We're fine. what I'm here for is to try to, during those dark nights, during that quiet time that we all had then, I'm trying to further the information flow to those folks that lost it, that are sitting there going, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And they can't sleep at night. I'm hoping that these radio shows that we do here on the weekends, they may get me any work. I've got plenty of work. We're great. Maybe somebody's going to hear something. Maybe they're going to do a little bit of study. Maybe they'll go to my Facebook page and find the reports, and maybe they're going to get some resolution.
He's here for you, and he's been praying for us all from the beginning. My friend John Miner, General Contractors, teamcomplete.com, 932-8720. That's 932-8720, teamcomplete.com.